Why, hello everyone. I'm Mark from Eclectic Arts Media, based here in Seattle, Washington, and my apologies for the delay. I was having actually some tech issues on my side, and then we kind of had to get things connected. But my guest is here, so we're ready to go. Hopefully, you're having a nice Thursday. I kind of forgot that it's already Thursday on February the 13th, the day before Valentine's 2025. Um, and just quickly, I want to thank my guest from yesterday, which was Gator Gabe from Yellowstone. Great catching up with him. He's the chef and caterer for the set of not only that show, but almost every other Taylor Sheridan show. He also has a character as Gator himself on the show, which is usually pretty funny, including the last few episodes from this season that they did. And for people that are joining us through Twitch, as usual, because I know my guest has a strong following over there, thank you for joining us. And we will fold in your questions and comments as we can. We have roughly, well, it'll be under an hour today because I do need to be done at 1 p.m. today, Pacific time. But for those that are new to this is a recurring series. This is the second session. We have done one-on-one interviews last year, and then we talked about doing this once a month series thing. And that's so this is nice that we're actually doing it back to back from January to February, and hopefully, March, April, May, June. If you have comments, or I should say, if you have topics or things that you think we should talk about or would like to see us talk about in the future, please let us know either now, if you're watching this later, put a comment on YouTube or send a direct message to me or something of that nature. It's always great when we have input from the viewers and the listeners about what you want to see us do. And so, without further ado, we're going to go and get into a few topics and bring in the namesake of this recurring live stream, Selena Ivy. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing really good, Selena. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, this is great. Selena, I'll just let you know too that the stream that's going out to everybody that they see should be fine. I don't know if you're kind of noticing like maybe you might disappear a little bit for like a split second. That's just behind the stage for some weird reason. I've been talking to the service provider about that. It happened yesterday and it happened on Tuesday too, and I was actually kind of freaking out about it because I'm like, is this what's going out to people? And it turns out it wasn't. So just if you kind of notice, like I just noticed you just disappeared for like half a second.
Okay.
There's kind of some kind of weird glitch going on, but what people are hearing and seeing is fine. Let me go back over here to the comments.
Yeah, I know
And
we always have audio problems, so I'm happy that it's good this time.
yeah, this is really, yeah, it's superb. It's really, really clear. Um, and so we're going to talk a little bit about, not a little bit, more of a dive into. Last time we spoke in January, you were going to be going on the road for a bit, like a long bit. It seemed like 20 days or something. And
Yeah,
so
I
that
was gone for like a month.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to kind of take it step by step through that. We're going to get to some unfinished business from last month, which was something to do with juggling, which is funny. I was just talking to one of my guests the other day this week, and I'm like, I don't even know how we got on that subject. Do you remember how we got on the subject of juggling?
I have no idea, but I like it.
Yeah, my guest said that sounds fun. I was like, well, we'll see how fun it is. And I've got another topic if we have time to kind of get to, and then we'll have some closing remarks. And again, if you're watching, I would also kind of, and we can just do this in real time right now. If you're following Kisk Cake through Twitch, and I would also say through other social media, I would also say if you can, if you're not already, follow her as Selena Ivy, especially on Instagram, because we're trying to get that profile raised as well, so that she has everything kind of going on. So I've had the same similar thing when I was Seattle next door as a photographer, and then I started the Eclectic Arts Media thing, and I was like, one was up here and one was kind of down here, and I was trying to get the other one up, and it's hard because I wasn't really doing the photography thing, so I'm like, I'm not really that anymore. I'm this other thing, but then people don't know about it. They know this one. So I totally understand what the situation is. But if you can follow her that way, follow me as well. That would be nice. But let's start so people kind of know where we're at with this road trip. Where was the first place you needed to go, or the first event that was happening?
So I went to LA for X3, but I was there for like a week before the actual event. So there's XBiz, which is like a week, and then the weekend at the end of XBiz is so XBiz is basically, if you don't know, it's a trade show I guess it's like a conference. It's like an adult entertainment conference where different people in the industry kind of go and learn from each other. There's different panels, different what's the word, seminars, and that's a really cool event to meet people and just learn. And then at the end of that, they have the fan convention where fans can go and meet the different performers, and that is like a weekend thing. So I was there for that whole block of time in LA. They host it at the Palladium every year. It's a lot of fun. And I had a couple scenes that I did during that week. So it was a really busy week. And I ended up, there was a whole like getting there was an absolute shit show. Like I had none of my stuff because I decided, I'm gonna ship it, and that was a mistake because I it didn't work out. So I didn't have like a lot of my stuff for the X3 convention. I don't recommend. And then after that, I went straight to Vegas after like a day of downtime and driving. And then it was AVN time.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. Like you mentioned when you went to LA and with Exodus, I didn't even realize they had like like an industry week prior to the fan convention week. I thought it was just all in one shot. So when you were there for that first week, what kind of things did you either learn or partake in from the industry?
So I'm a bad industry apple. I was I recently swapped agencies and now I'm in like a really good place. But prior to that, I really was not. And I was told from my previous agent that you don't need to go to this thing. It's like it's not that important. And since moving away from that, I didn't. So I kind of didn't really know that I could go until like 3 days into that. So those first 3 days, I was like trying to run errands and like get everything printed for AVN and XBit or X3. Um, so I did not really get to take advantage of it the way that I wish I would have. And had I known sooner, like this is a really good event. If you're wanting to be a part of the industry, you need to go to this event. Like if you're new and you don't really have a big network of people, you got to go to this event. You can learn from different creators. They host different panels where you can ask questions and basically just give like insight to one another. I went to a couple different seminars. One was for a friend. He was a multi award winning director in the industry, and he was hosting or uh, what's the word for like in debates, they a mediator. He was like
Yeah.
mediating the panel
Okay.
um or hosting the panel. So he invited me to come see the panel and I did, and it was actually really, I'm really thankful that I was invited to that because I met some really great people and I got to learn from like bigger creators like Kazumi, Ellie Clutch, basically just being able to ask them questions as someone who's like really new and kind of distant from this. That was very helpful. Um, and we talked about like all sorts of industry stuff. So like DMCA, how like organization, just very valuable skills or tidbits of information for being a creator.
Okay, and so for somebody like me that's on the outside of all of this, you mentioned how helpful this part of the convention was for someone that's new or someone that is trying to build their network. So if you are, do you have to have any kind of I don't know any kind of proof that you're actually in the industry, or can someone just kind of slide into some of these seminars?
You can sign up. I think they have like their signing up thing is their vetting process. You know, someone like you could just show like put your website into the application process and then they'll give you a badge. But they're pretty welcoming of anyone who's in the industry. But the thing is it's like the people that are going to go are the people who take it seriously, the people who want to be there. So I feel like there's, from what I noticed, we hear word of mouth, bad things about people, good things about people. And I feel like it was a very good um, group of individuals that were at this event. Like they really care, they take it seriously. So, yes, I think people probably could, like, but I don't think people are that dedicated to do that, especially with their vetting process. Like, you have to be able to show that you are industry or industry adjacent.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just had a weird, curious thing that maybe there would be a fan that was there earlier, and they were kind of, oh, I'd like to find out more about this behind the scenes stuff that the industry folks are talking about. But it just reminds me, like any kind of workplace convention or workshop you had to go to for a day or something, that sometimes they can be really really helpful, and you learned a lot that you took away from it. And then sometimes, at least for me, I've had some that were a complete waste of time. It's like I already know like all of this stuff. Uh,
Yeah. I wish
uh,
I'd known about it sooner. I wish I'd gone the first day and gone every single day, because when I got there and they handed me the book of like all of the things that they were hosting, all the seminars, I I felt really dumb for like not knowing sooner. And I wish that I was in better hands prior, where someone was like, "Yeah, if you want to do this, you need to go to this thing." Because I definitely would have. I hate that I didn't get to experience the full of it.
Yeah, no, that's well, I mean, that's through no fault of your own. Like you said, the past agency, representation that you had didn't steer you in the right direction, and then luckily you did eventually, and you got to partake in part of that, part of the conference, and not miss all of it. Because then you really would have been like, oh shit, this is what you guys talked about. I could have really learned something from this.
Yeah.
Um, and it always sucks when you have, especially in hindsight, you can say, how come you didn't tell me about this? But it's like, then you try to like move past it. It's like, I'm moving forward. I'm not with you anymore. Blah, blah, blah. But still, it kind of, irks you. That's natural.
It irks when there's like leftover things, like, you know,
Yeah, they still kind of sprinkle into what you're doing.
yeah, the remnants.
Yeah. Well, now you know though. So for next year, you know that you can plan accordingly. That I'm going to be there from Monday through Sunday or whatever for that first week, and kind of switching gears. You mentioned that you shipped a lot of things that didn't end up there. So you're talking about like promo stuff or that you can have for signing, or just like outfits or all of the above.
Um, Pretty much all my promo stuff. So my banner didn't come in time. I had some DVDs that didn't come in time. Even though I shipped them prior, but there was an issue with the shipping, so it had to go back in circulation. I had to track it down and then have them like reship it. It was just very disastrous. And then I couldn't find a place that would print my banner, like print a new one last minute. And like they're not cheap. They're like $300 to get a banner. So like I really had to try and make it work, and it was a struggle, but it was okay. I eventually got all my stuff by the time of AVN, and I was very happy that I at least had it for that.
Okay, now that sucks when when you have a shipping issue. I'm flashbacking to when I had a guitar shipped to me through UPS, and I kept getting those stupid notes on my door. I worked a 9 to 5 job, and said, "Oh, we just missed you." So then I would call them and say, "I'm either going to come get it from you at this, don't send it out again, or send it at this time." And they say, "Oh yeah, we have you down, and we'll make sure the driver gets there after 4 p.m. or whatever." And then I come home and there's already a note on my door that they missed me again, and it's like, leave it there at the facility. I'm going to come to you. I get the facility, and they're like, we don't have it here. I just wanted to strangle somebody. And in your case, it was for business. So I mean, my case was just for pleasure. I just wanted to try out my new guitar. In your case, like, I need this stuff because I'm at these conventions. Um, and like you said, I've had to have banners made too for promotional purposes. And yeah, that stuff is not cheap, and it's interesting. So I don't know how many fans out there even know this. Even like, I wasn't really completely aware of it. So do they leave that up to each talent, like whatever you're going to be doing at XBiz or at AVN, that if you need a banner, if you need 8x10s, if you need whatever, that's up to you to bring, and that's your expense.
Yes, all of it. Unless you're signing with a booth. Like I think for Brazzers, they'll like get the prints for the girls and they just have like one big stack of prints. But I have a lot of stuff. I have like pretty much all the DVDs that I'm in. I have a big binder of prints, and then I have little kisses that have little stickers of me on the bottom for like that I just hand out. Um, Banner, all of that, everything, pretty much everything that you see at that person's table, they paid for. Like they organized, did handled all the distributing, well, not like the distributing, but like obtaining it from the distributors, purchasing it to then resell. Um, so it's a lot of work. I guess it's as much work as you make it. I'm a very I like detail. I really care about like little details for things. Tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist. Um, so I like to have all these little bits and pieces that are just like very thoughtful things. Um, so I probably could do the simple route of just getting like a stack of prints and call it a day. Um, or like maybe two DVDs, like two of my favorite DVDs. But I don't know. Maybe I should reconsider some things for future. Just make it easy.
Well, that's nice though that you are the type of person that wants to have those extra details and that you kind of you want to present your brand that way instead of just what I'm just going to have two things there for people to sign or whatever and just not give too much thought to it. I'd much rather have something. I'm thinking about even like with independent bands when you go to the merch table at a show and they've got like 30 things there. It's like damn, they're lugging this stuff all around the city to city versus somebody that has we've got this and we have one T-shirt and we just haven't put much thought into it, or we're going to get to it when we have more money. And I understand part of that, but it's also like, I don't know who you are and you're based out of, Atlanta or something. So I don't know when you're going to be back up in Seattle. So why don't you take my money? I'm ready to spend it on you or whatever, or meet you and get the word out. So, but that's interesting because I know I talked to one other guest that was doing, I think they're doing Exotica or they're doing some fan thing over the weekend, and she didn't know that she had to print up all of her own stuff. And she found out like last minute, so she's running around to whatever was local to her, trying to get a bunch of 8x10s printed off, which did happen, but it just added stress to her already kind of chaotic, weekend. And I think she
Yeah,
was,
no, it's a lot, especially because if you're in the area too, there everyone does like a lot of the stuff last minute, so they get really backed up. So if you want prints by X time and you don't tell them until last minute, there are probably 50 other performers that did the exact same thing. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
that's exactly what she talked about too. That she was like, it was so close to her, like basically not having things in time. And it was like her first time ever meeting the fans. So that's why she was already kind of excited, but also like nervous. And yeah, somebody steered her in the wrong direction, didn't prep her for like, hey, you need to have this, this, and this. But she knew by the next time she was ready to rock and she had all her stuff out. Um, but so if you get your things
I ended up
eventually.
having to like do a not CVS, a Staples run, and I just went and bought a bunch of craft stuff to like try and make a banner that just had my name on it. Um, and I think, it worked ish.
I like the ish part.
It was better than nothing. I think it really, I didn't have it till the second day. So the first day I was like up on the balcony, and that kind of sucked because unless you have a banner, no one's gonna know that you're up there because I was in like the very um like the place where nobody goes, like the lowest foot traffic spot possible. And so not having a banner, I think that first day really hurt me. Um, so I made shift one for the second day, but I was also in a better position the second day. It worked out. It worked out ish.
Okay. Well, that brings up another question. So, like that first day when you're up in this area that didn't get a lot of foot traffic, do you have any say or any kind of push or pull on like, hey, can I get a better spot the next day because I'm like in no man's land here?
Um, no. I mean, sometimes it's better to just do and then ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah, I've done that in many cases, especially with my photography locations I wasn't supposed to be in. But oh well.
And
Um,
then if somebody says something, then
like, oh, I didn't know. So
I
sorry.
I don't know how this works.
Okay, well, you're already kind of talking about it. So that second week at XBiz, when the fans were there meeting all the performers, what were your interactions like? Did anybody stand out for good or not so good?
Not really. Um, the second day I was also kind of towards the back, so it was like I still had a lot of people come visit, but it wasn't it wasn't super um like a high traffic area either. It was definitely better than the first day, but a lot of the interactions were pretty quick with people. Not like by my choice, just like I think people trying to run around and like get to where they're trying to go because it's the last day.
Okay, and so like you said, you had certain things that you tried to hand out to people. Are you comfortable being that kind of, putting yourself out there when you're trying to meet fans or people walking by? You're kind of like somewhere in the middle, like I don't mind doing it, or you're like more on the introverted, like I hope that you come over here, but I don't want to come grab you or get in your face.
I would say medium because I don't just like go and grab people like, hey, come check out my stuff. But if I see someone looking at me, then I'll make eye contact and I'm just like, you, come here.
And for someone like myself that's never been to an adult convention, um, what are prices like? Like, what is like an 8 by 10? What's that go for if somebody signs one?
I think standard is 20.
Okay. And then, like, do you charge for selfies and that kind of thing, like the other conventions do, or how's that work?
I do. If they want to, um, I don't know how much because I think my prices were different for X3 versus AVN. Like it varies per convention. Um, but I have a sheet somewhere.
Okay. No, for me, like going to some of the local conventions here that are like pop culture things.
Oh,
Um,
selfies are 10, like with the person. That's
okay.
that's what they
Okay.
do.
Okay. So that's really reasonable because for me, some of the conventions around here, $10 for a selfie was like 10 years ago. So I don't even know what it costs now. I haven't been to a convention in a while, period. So I'm guessing maybe they charge 50 or something. And then there's like sometimes there's professional photo ops for these conventions here locally, where you can spend even more money depending on who you're getting a picture with and all that. Um, but you've got to be one of the few guests I've talked to in the adult industry that can actually talk about her promotional stuff that she has with her. It kind of amazes me how many of them don't have anything, even like leftovers, like from conventions. Because I've
Hmm.
asked them, do you have any photos? Do you have a web shop? Do you have anything where like fans can, spend $20 and get something shipped? And they're like, I need to get on that. Like,
I'm going to add a store to my website where I'm selling like signed prints um and that stuff, but to add it to my site, it costs money, and that's just not something I've been able to do, which, I guess it'd be fine because then I'd be my fear is that I'm going to set it up and I'm going to be spending to like have the website up and no one's going to buy anything for X amount of time. Like maybe one print every 3 months is not going to pay for me to actually have the site up and running like that, you know? So
sure.
logistically, it's something I want to do. I don't know if it's something that I can do right now,
Okay. Well,
like until I've maybe grown a bit.
all right. With all the fans that are watching or listening right now, here's your time. Start saying you would go in there and log in and buy something, put it in your cart, and pay for it. So that makes business sense for Selena to get that going. I totally understand. I mean, what I'm doing right now costs me money with this live stream service, and so if I'm only doing one a month and I'm not getting any tips or donations, then it's like this is all coming out of my pocket. And like, why am I doing this? Then after a while, because it doesn't make a lot of business sense to me.
Some things,
Um,
as much as we love them, they're just not sustainable, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've had to think twice, especially like when was that last year? The rate went way up on this thing, so I started looking at other platforms, and I wasn't really happy with what I was seeing comparatively for the price. So, but yeah, so some people are like, "Hey, are you still going to do your last?" I said, "I am for now." I can't keep doing. If they raise it again, it's like, okay. I see someone saying I'll do it, so thank you for Selena. She needs
Thank
that
you.
support.
Yes. Buy
Yeah,
from me. Don't buy from eBay because people steal photos and then sell them for like double what I would sell them at a convention, and we don't love that. Don't get ripped off.
but see, there's another really good piece of advice. Yeah, go to the source. So if she sees that the demand is there, then she can make this happen, and she can have that store going for you. Yeah, because there's one gal that I interviewed. I've got her picture around here somewhere. Um, and she was so business savvy about every little thing for any fan. She's willing to do it if it's going to be this picture, or hold up a sign or whatever, that old style thing. But it was going to cost you, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a business. It's how she sustains herself. But it kind of took me back for a second. I'm like, how business minded she was. But I'm like, that's cool. I mean, that clearly she knew what she was doing, and clearly you know what you're doing because you already know the costs and pros and cons of it. So yeah, people, let her know. um, so moving from XBiz in LA, then you went to AVN in Vegas. Kind of the big daddy of the shows.
The Big
Um,
Daddy.
well, and I think you've mentioned you've been there before, correct, at AVN?
Yes. This was my first year signing, so that
Oh,
was exciting. And I was with my new agency, and it was really awesome. Um, it was it was a really good time. I had a great time at AVN.
okay. And so, um, was it since you're there with your agency? Do they just do the heavy lifting? Then you can show up and bring your stuff at your appointed day and time when you're signing and all that.
Pretty much. So they'll like organize time slots that performers sign. Um, a lot of time, but they're not super. They would like for you to show up, um, but they're not super. They weren't super strict about it. Um, I made all of my appearances for the time slots that I was scheduled for. There were a couple times that I ended up having to leave early to like help someone film something or like work stuff. But it was a really good time. It was a really big booth. So I got to work with a lot of my fellow agency ladies, which was fun getting to meet them.
Okay. And are there like what people might think in their head if they go to AVN? Are there like huge parties going on every night if you want to attend them, kind of a thing?
Yes. Every night, sometimes multiple parties a night. You have to party hop. It's insane. It's a lot.
Okay. And so were you partaking in those parties or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a great time. I would get like three invites to the different parties and they were all like overlapping. So I would like make an appearance at one, jump to the other one. If that one was fun, I'd stay a little longer and then I'd like try and go back to the other one or like it was a lot. It was chaos.
Oh man, that's that. Not that you need to do that, and it's actually you've already been there. But does anybody, not even yourself or other stars, when they're doing the party hopping, that kind of thing, do they ever film any of that for content just to get a little clip of it out there of them having some kind of crazy time at a party?
I don't know. I don't think so. I want to say maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I just like haven't thought about this. Like maybe you're the first to think of that and no one's done that. But the vibe that I get from a lot of these events is because they are like industry events, they don't really like want to share it
Hmm.
like that. Like it's like they're parties, they're industry parties, but I feel like they're more like personal.
It sounds like it would be something like if you were with a bunch of fellow people at a not a private club, but just something where you don't. It's not a work thing in the sense that you're not trying to get content from it. We're just trying to have a good
Yeah,
time in
yeah,
a
yeah.
safe space.
that's the vibe that I get, but I could be wrong, and that's actually a really good idea. Well, yeah, okay. So I thought about it just didn't work out timing wise because I wasn't able to actually get any of my stuff until way later. And then by then, making content was like not even a focus. I was focused on getting what I needed. It kind of became a little more survival mode. But what I had wanted to do prior to the convention, there's a lot of like tiny things that I do, like printing out all of the kisses that or the stickers that go on my kisses and then just like putting them on, drawing up my menu, stuff like that, that I really want to make a reel or a TikTok like, get ready with me for a corn convention of like all the little things that go into the behind the scenes.
Yeah, see, I think that's a great idea. Those are the things that, for the most part, the fans don't see. And even if it's going to be like doing that and maybe you preparing that, hey, I've got 3 parties I'm going to tonight. You don't actually show the party, but maybe like what you're going to be wearing or where they're going to, just real small, like 5-second clips of this is the front door entrance kind of thing. And then, fades to black so that, the fans like me don't actually get to see what's going on back there. So almost like a big tease. Um, but it would also be kind of interesting to kind of show like, yeah, there's this stuff going so that, come down to AVN next year and, be in the fun and that kind of thing. I don't know, just some weird thing off the top of my head.
It's a great idea. I just think I was born in the wrong time because I am not. I love y'all. I am not a content creator. Like I'm trying to be, but it's so not like my brain doesn't automatically like I need to film that. It's always a very in the moment, just like enjoying what's happening in the moment. I've never been the type of person to be like, "Oh, look at me. Look what I'm doing." So I really struggle with trying to be that for like I feel like you guys want to see this when like in my head I'm just the thought is that bad? That's bad. I'm sorry.
No, I think you're being honest. I think what that shows is that it's almost like you need somebody there that can help with that, who does think that way. So you can just be yourself, be in the moment, and then they're maybe trying to grab out their phone and film you doing something, and then they can edit it later. And it's like, hey, these might be good content pieces for social media or something, or your website.
I would
So,
either need to hire someone or find a very dedicated individual slash friend who's that obsessed with me and like making this thing with me. And I don't see either of those things happening.
maybe you have a trustworthy follower on Twitch right now that would like to be that person. Not where you're at now and back home, but maybe if next year for a convention, hey, yeah, I wouldn't mind being there for a day and just being the person who tries to help you create content. Or I don't know. Just I'm reaching at straws here, but
No,
um,
if there's a will, there's a way. I'm just not sure if I have that much of a will. I think I was born at the wrong time. Or 2000s me would have been flying.
I'm getting better at the content thing, but I'm nowhere near what some people do. They're so yeah, their mind just thinks that way. I'm somewhere in the middle, where I have to kind of keep my presence known and whatever. And after a while, honestly, I get tired of it. I'm just like, I just don't give a shit about this. I'm just gonna do what I do, and hopefully, you kind of come along for the ride. But then at the same time, I'll be like, you know what, I should be posting something today because I'm gonna be at this thing or I've got this guest coming on. So it's like, you need to do it because I'm freelance. I don't have somebody else doing it for me. I kind of wish I did. That I can just concentrate on actually securing interviews and events and coverage and all that kind of stuff. But comes with the territory.
I'm very it's nice because like I have some other content creator friends who I don't like some of them like took pictures of me at the convention and I'm thankful that they did that because like it wasn't a thought to me like oh I need to take pictures right now and that's like that was really nice. That was nice of them.
That's cool. Seeing people talking about. So one person saying they do some of that with creators right now on Twitch, and I see somebody else is talking about. It just it kind of took a while. It was kind of weird trying to film their travels, and then you kind of got used to it, and then you kind of get into that rhythm, doing that kind of thing. But
I feel
uh,
like we talked about that before. It's a sin. I think we talked about that before quite some time ago. Um, I could be wrong, but I feel like I vaguely remember that being a
So,
thing.
and so making sure we're kind of keeping with the time, I do have something else I want to ask you related to this before we jump into the revisiting from January. Um, so what are your with the new agency and you went to these two conventions and you caught some seminars. What are you trying to do for the next 6 months with your adult career? Is there like a plan? Are things already in motion for some new stuff? Like you said, you already shot some scenes when you were out there. What's going to be moving on with your career here?
Um, that's a great question. I would like to move so I have a little more opportunity. Um, that's kind of it. Like it just survival mode. That's not a fun or exciting answer. I'm just trying to make it work.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. And you actually mentioned that before that taking things day to day, and you've got other responsibilities as well, and trying to make sure everything kind of works. But yeah, it's hard when you have to be pushing yourself, even if you have a great agency and you've got other people around you that are really supportive. Um, just trying to make yourself do this, do this, do this. It gets tiring after a while, even though that's maybe what you want.
Being in the right place in the right time is very difficult to do when I'm in a different state.
Yeah. I interviewed someone that was over a year ago. That I think she's based in Virginia. And she talked about the exact same thing. She was thinking about moving because she needs more opportunities because there's aren't any where she's at. She's got to go to them. She's got to fly out every single time, either down to Florida or to Vegas or to LA. And she's like, I can't keep doing this because she's got other responsibilities at home. So then it became like, can we move closer so then I can kind of have everything working here? And as far as I know, she's still there in Virginia. I don't think she managed to make it happen.
The halfway point is very difficult because like it's not that much better. If you're going to move, it's kind of very all or nothing because there's still no opportunity in the halfway. It's just maybe a little cheaper flight, but you
Yeah,
still have to fly. You're still not in the eye of the people that you need to be in the eye of. Like you're still removed.
that makes sense because I just remembered there was another gal that was in the industry. She was in Texas and she was thinking about, do I go to Vegas or do I go to LA? She was like, I think I'm going to go to, I think she ended up in LA. And it was like, it was a whole thing because she was with a partner at the time and he didn't want to move out there. And so it became this whole thing. I don't even know if he ended up going with it, but I know she is there because she posts from there for the last year. And for the exact same reason, I need to be here to get these opportunities and be a part of this industry instead of
Hmm.
being up over here on the sideline of it. And so, okay, but again, fair enough. I mean, you've got things that you have to juggle. So, they happen where they happen, or, if you have discussions with, people in your circle about what's the best move here, um, then you see what happens with it.
Wish me luck.
I wish you all the luck in the world. And maybe
Thank you.
we can potentially, we'll be here, hopefully, fingers crossed, once a month, so we can almost kind of document this. Hey, remember back in February we
I know,
talked
I'm
about this?
scared. Remember back in February when I was in the exact same place I am 8 months later?
you know, it's whatever is best for you. I mean, I've been here doing what I do for what I've been here a little over 3 years in this city that I'm in, and then prior to this, I was in the city for like 24 years locally. Um, but I was still, getting things done that I wanted to get done. It just kind of depends on, yeah, things happen the way they do, and sometimes you make that move, and then things don't pan out the way you wanted. Then you're
Then
kind of
that's
like,
even more terrifying.
yeah. So,
We'll get there. We'll get there
yeah.
when it's meant to happen. It'll happen. I believe that. I just hope I'm not 40. Like, I'm
Or
gonna move to Vegas for my adult career now. Not that 40-year-olds sound like that. I went to like 80. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm so sorry.
uh, Well, that's a good segue to what we were talking about last month, and we don't remember exactly how the topic came up, but we started talking about juggling. So, for anyone that wasn't there last month in January, we said, okay, and I talked with Selena offline that, in February, we should try to follow up on that and kind of see where we're at. And even if we just like, we have stuff, we talked about, getting scarves or tissues or anything that's kind of light, just to kind of start off with, maybe doing 1 and 2 instead of 3. And I had we learned how to do this stuff way back when I was like an elementary PE class. So I mean that's how long it's been for me. I grabbed these are used dryer
Dryer
sheets.
sheets, that's
Yeah,
brilliant. Oh, that would have been so
yeah.
much better.
And I
I
tried
have
doing it.
handkerchiefs,
Well, that could be good too, though. I mean, as
but
long
I
as
think
it's
they're too big. They're quite large.
okay. All I know is I tried doing this yesterday, and I realized, gosh, my reflexes are terrible. I, just trying to do 2, um, and I did do 3 for like maybe 1.5 passes. That was about it. Um, so how? So did you get a chance to practice at all, or did you just try to find something to grab and we're gonna figure this
Um,
out?
I I did try and practice. I can't say that I was super dedicated to the craft. My my agility skills and my I'm not good.
That makes 2 of us. So you're we're in the same boat. It's not a problem at all. And you and I control this too. So if you want to wait till next month to actually do it, you're like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna try it right now in front of everybody, and we'll see
I'll
where we're
try
start.
it because you
Okay,
could see the progression.
there
The
we go.
Do you want you go first? I don't want to go first.
Well, let me take my earbud off. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me just from the regular mic coming through the device here, but so I always just try. I need to get further back on. I just try it with 2, even if you're just doing this kind of this kind of thing, just to do 1, 2 to get the rhythm of it,
Okay. Yeah,
and
that's
and then trying to throw the third one in, which is gonna be a ridiculous thing, but
my brain just like doesn't like my hand won't do that like to grab it. Like it just wants to go like this versus I feel like it needs to grab the maybe that's where I'm messing up. Maybe it
Yeah.
is just maybe it is just a,
Well, again, I would suggest if you want to kind of build up, is just to try just doing 1, 2 and stop. 1, 2 to kind of get that rhythm together.
I feel like I was able to do hold on. I think I can do this. There was I did it one time and I was really proud of myself to like try and get the no.
No, but you're getting there. You could see that you're getting into the rhythm of grabbing each handkerchief.
I thought maybe if they were different colors, it'd be easier for me to kind of like make a mental note. Okay, blue, black, blue. I don't know.
Like I can tell you, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this on a live stream, so it's uniquely ours.
Okay, brain, brain. No, we're losing it.
I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know how people do like they can do it like in one hand.
Like a
I
one-handed juggle? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
they can do like especially if they have balls, they can do like 3 and oh my gosh, where'd that go? In one hand.
I just feel like there's a way that you have to hold it in order to like be able to throw it up. So I can do, can I do 2? They're too close. I feel like if someone threw a third one in for me, I think I might be able to do it if someone like tossed one because then I can,
Oh,
but
just
it's the process of
grabbing that third one.
getting the third one in the rotation. Ooh, No, hold on. Okay. Uh, that probably just looked really stupid. Look, I tried.
Yeah, no, okay, this it's like the old college try, I think, for both of us.
Points for
And
creativity.
yeah, and I think someone Steiner's talking about that. It's easier if you have more weight. It can be for sure with like if you had balls or things of that nature. But I
What about
also
a
know
light ball?
where'd she go? Oh,
I haven't tried it with balls yet.
yeah, maybe it'll be easier for you. We'll find out.
I just feel like I'm not that coordinated with.
What I found when I moved to weight was that it was hard for me to actually grab those, and I had because my reflexes are so slow. So when I have something that's floating, it was actually easier. But that's just me. I'm not coordinated.
I'm not coordinated. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if the balls would work.
But you know what's good? This is our foundation. So we can go back in February and say this is where we were, and then maybe like in June we like a master at it and doing 5. I don't know.
I can add that to my resume.
Yeah.
I'll get so many bookings.
If you need a juggling scene, I'm your gal.
I could be a sexy clown.
There you go. See, there's that creativity coming through. How can I incorporate this into my work? Um, there's a gal that I interviewed from adult that was missing a tooth, and she was showing it to me. She said, "Mark, I look like a hillbilly," and she was missing this tooth. And I'm like, "You should use that though as a theme, like a hillbilly theme with you. You got people trying to come in the woods, and they think that you're some country bumpkin. Then you turn the tables on it, and it turns into a whole BDSM thing or whatever." And she said, "I don't think about things like that." It's like, well, you need creative people around you. That lemon into lemonade stuff.
I feel like I think about things, but my execution is not. I struggle with the execution. Although I read that that was like an ADHD thing, but now the more that I'm seeing, I don't know if that's a thing.
Well, hey, I do think, I mean, we have a base, and I'm glad that we actually went from talking about something to actually doing it. So
We did, we
that's all.
executed.
Yeah, we actually executed something, and we have a foundational piece. So again, we can reference this. So if we choose to come back to it, we can. If we choose not to, because it's up to you and me, and obviously input from everybody watching and listening, then we can sign and see where we're going. So speaking of which, since I am running out of time, if you have other things you'd like to see Selena and I tackle in the future, let us know through the chat. Again, let me know. Put it on YouTube. Send a DM to either one of us about, hey, for March, why don't you try this? And we'll kind of see if that's something we can incorporate into what we're doing, because we want your feedback. It's always great when everybody's in the chat like this for these sessions.
I would
Uh,
like to administer a challenge that the chat also works on their juggling alongside us.
there we go. Wow, I like that. Trying to be, we're very inclusive here.
Yay!
Um, and I was kind of curious before we have parting words and all that. Were you did you have like a stuffed toy or something during this interview?
Yes, I was stroking my alpaca.
Oh, okay. I thought for a second maybe you had like an actual cat or something on your lap.
No, I like to touch things. Um, so I was petting this, but he's made of alpaca fur. He's from an alpaca farm.
Huh.
Um, and he's very soft. And I don't have a cat, but I imagine that if I had a cat, this is what it would be like, and this is what it would feel like. So I like it.
Okay. That's awesome. So again, we're gonna get ready to wrap things up here. And so, Selena, what kind of closing remarks, if any, do you have for everybody out there?
You ask me this every time, and I feel like I should have something clever by now. Other than the basic, thanks for joining, thanks for having me. I hope you like my alpaca and juggling, and I want to see or at least hear about all of um, your juggling adventures, how you progress along with us, chat. That would be nice.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think for me, I hope that everyone, is doing the best that they can out there, whatever state your life happens to be in. I'm very grateful anytime that you join us for these sessions or anything else that I do. And again, please follow Kisk Cake, Selena Ivy as well, so we can get that account up. Follow Eclectic Arts Media on different social media platforms. And again, it's just always awesome that we have Selena's following shows up for these. And we plan on doing these once a month. And if we decide to change that to something else, if it's more often or if they're a little bit longer or whatever, just depends on schedules. It's just really great having everybody here. So I hope you have a great Thursday. And again, we will see you next month for Selena Says Session 3. And
Yay!
we will go from there. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you then.
Bye.